This is a high quality belt from Dominion. This is the starting strength belt. This is the single ply starting strength belt. And this belt has holes punched in it at about 1-inch centers, and you can see this. And the holes are rather large. Now, this is a 3/8 inch punch, and if you're going to make some holes in your belt and add a couple of holes to your belt, you're going to have to get a punch that is this big, all right? A cheap, shitty, junky belt will have a buckle with a very, very small pin. All right, the buckle pin, the smaller the buckle pin is, the greater the tendency for the buckle pin to cut into the leather of the belt. So when you buy a quality belt, you will expect that this pin is nice and fat. The fat pin distributes the pressure of the tension on the belt over a larger surface area in the hole that's been punched in the belt. So in a good belt, you're going to find fat buckle pins and big 3/8 inch holes like this. So if you're going to add another hole, it's got to be the same size. And all of Wilson's belts from Dominion are provided with a 3/8 hole. So you're going to need a 3/8 punch. Now get on Amazon or wherever you want to shop and get a 3/8 punch, but don't try to use too small a punch. Don't try to drill it with an electric drill. Don't do any, look, you paid a bunch of money for this belt, all right? Don't fuck it up by punching the hole wrong, all right? You're gonna add a couple of holes to this belt, and you're gonna do that for the purpose of extending the useful life of the belt. So don't screw that up by doing the holes incorrectly. Okay, now I want you to notice this other thing. When the buckle pin goes through the belt, the buckle pin does not go through the belt at 90 degrees to the leather. It goes through at an angle. And the tighter the belt is going to be, the more stretched into that angle, the more stretched across that angle, the leather around the buckle pin will be, okay? Now over time, you can see on this belt that these holes have become rather oblong. This is a normal function of use of a belt. You're gonna stretch a round hole into an oblong hole. It's perfectly normal. And it works just fine as long as the belt has got a fat enough buckle pin so that it doesn't actually cut the leather of the belt. Now I've had belts, cheap junky ass belts that came from various places that were provided with a shitty buckle and a skinny buckle pin that actually cut the leather between two holes in the belt. All right, that's a function of the diameter of the buckle pin. It's also a function of the quality of the leather that the belt is made out of, all right? But these are good belts and they don't do that. So we're gonna assume you bought a good belt and you're gonna add another hole up here on the short end, the skinny end of the buckle, of the belt rather. And this is what we're going to do. We're gonna back this up with a board, all right? Now anytime you use one of these punches, you're gonna punch all the way through the leather into the surface that the belt is laying on top of. Now, you don't want to do this on your dinner table because it's gonna chop a hole in the wood. So I've got a piece of 2x6 here that I'm gonna use as a backstop for drilling the hole. I'm just gonna punch this hole. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find a 1-inch center so that I maintain my hole spacing. And then I'm gonna score the belt with the punch. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm punching the hole in the right place, because you only get one chance at this, all right? And to make sure it's lined up correctly, it's right where it needs to be. And then I'm going to take my trusty old 90-year-old ball peen hammer here that I've repaired many a belt with. Now I'm going to pull off, and I'm going to make sure that I haven't fucked it up. And in fact, I have not fucked it up. So I'm going to continue. With the punching. Until I have completely penetrated the belt. And I can check that by feeling of it on the back side. I'm getting close. Now there, it's all the way through. So once I'm all the way through, you'll notice that I'm into the wood. All right, see how I'm into the wood right there? Now, I'm going to take the punch out, and the plug of leather will come with it. And there's the hole. Now this looks a little bit bigger than the original holes, and in fact it may be a little tiny bit bigger than the original hole, but this thing will collapse as the compression subsides from the punch having been drawn through the leather. I'd rather have it a little too big than too small, okay? So if you're going to modify your belt, all right, you have to have the right tools. This punch is absolutely essential. You've got to get one that's the right size, big enough to make a nice, useful hole in the belt. And if you do this correctly, you're going to be producing, you're going to be saving the belt for future use that otherwise would be now too long for you to use. So keep this in mind. Not everybody has to have a punch. I've got one here in the gym because I've got 40 belts on the rack over there that occasionally need some modification. But if you've got a belt that needs to be added to, don't just hurry up and do what most people do, which is just use what the hell you've got available in the garage. Order a punch. Wait on the punch to get here and do it correctly. Hope this helps.